am the god of hellfire, and I bring you...
Right. Hello, this is Burn. This is a mono red deck that costs you approximately, at time of recording, around $114 to build. Goblin Guide has gone down in price, I believe. Let me just check how much it went down by. Used to be a $40 card. It's now only like $15, thanks to Double Masters. Probably will go lower as people open more Double Masters, perhaps. I don't know. I'm not an economist. Ask hashtag MTG Finance. They're always there to try and help you learn and improve your game, apparently. This is Burn. Burn used to be the boogeyman of the format. Not in the sense that people were scared of playing against it like regularly. More so that people were fucking annoyed if they lost a round to it. Yeah, I played against it day 2 in a Legacy GP once and I was genuinely shocked. Because people think the deck's bad. And it can be bad. I mean, there's a certain 3-mana Planeswalker that makes food in this format still, so that's a problem. Hopefully we don't play against that piece of shit. But what Burn used to do was punish greedy mana bases that were playing up to dual lands by playing Price of Progress. Now, I've got 3 of them in the sideboard for the decks that it will punish, like Cloudpost and lands, and some variants of Delver. But the problem we have now is that Astrolabe still exists, so like Miracles and other variants of Snow decks, or Snowco, or Snurro, or whatever the fuck you want to call it. Whatever amalgamation of a broken, busted, shouldn't have been put in a green-blue card plus the word Snow. Yeah, those decks play just snow-covered lands, so Price of Progress is now not in the main deck. That's right, welcome to 2020. The world is upside down. It was raining chocolate in Switzerland the other day. I'm not even making that up. There was a fucking explosion or something at a lint factory, and one of the towns was covered in chocolate powder.
Chocolate rain. Some stay dry and others feel the pain.
There's a global pandemic, okay? There is a global pandemic going on. We've got shit going down all over the shop. 2020 is fucking wild. And one of the wildest things, in my opinion, is that Price of Progress is no longer main deckable in Legacy Burn. Now somebody's going to say, well, you know, if people are playing less dual lands, it just makes the format more accessible. Do you know what also makes the format more accessible? Fucking getting rid of the reserve list. But let's not go down that route, alright? You sat at home with your fucking sat in your tower. This is mono red Burn. There's a load of mountains, there's no utility lands, there's no fetch lands, because fetch lands are for cowards. No, sorry, fetch lands are for people... No, they don't get reprinted by cowards. I don't fucking know. The whole point of the deck is to burn your opponent to death. Our key cards are in the board Price of Progress. But main deck we have 1 mana damage spells like Goblin Guide and Monastery Swiftspear, recurring sources of damage. We have 4 copies of Chain Lightning, 4 copies of Lava Spike, and 4 copies of Lightning Bolt. This deck has 12 copies of 3 damage for 1 mana because it likes redundancy. We have 2 copies of Flame Rift, which is 4 damage to you and your opponent. It's like slapping yourself in the face. You know, like when Michael Keaton and Batman's like, "Let's get, you want to get crazy? Let's get crazy." This is Flame Rift. This is Michael Keaton in Tim Burton's Batman.
It's lights out! Now you want to get nuts! Come on! Let's get nuts.
Tell me something, my friend. You ever dance with the devil in the pale moonlight?
Then another key part of the deck is Idol of the Great Rhetoric, because it makes Great Rhetoric, that's the white one, that's I also love. Idol of the Great Revels, which pings people for 2 every time they play a spell that costs 3 or less. Most spells in Legacy cost 3 or less. Really fucks up Storm, really fucks up Elves. Then we've got uncounterable 4 damage if you've got Spell Mastery to get through all the counter magic. We've got Rift Bolt, which is basically another another lightning bolt for 1 mana if you suspend it. And then we've got one of my favourite cards. This is up there as one of my favourite red cards. I love it as a first picking cube. Sulfuric Vortex. Beginning of each player's upkeep, they take damage and no one can gain life. This ends games of Magic. If you want to have time between rounds at a tournament to go take a shit, then Sulfuric Vortex is your best friend. Then lastly we have Fire Blast, a free 4 damage if you're willing to sack 2 mountains, which at the end of the game when your opponent's on 4 is real fucking good. We also smash the Smithereens, Pyrostatic Pillars, Red Elemental Blasts, and Searing Bloods in the sideboard. 2 copies of Fair Macabre as well to fight back against Graveyard based decks. And I guess Uro perhaps, maybe. We'll see when we play against Uro whether I bring it in. Haven't decided now. This is Burn! It's cheap as fuck. It's so cheap. This is the next video on my budget Legacy series, I guess. I never want the next video to be Burn. But Brainstorm decks are kind of off the table because fetch lands are too fucking expensive because Wizards of the Coast won't fucking reprint them. So here's your Legacy, but it's cheap. Cheap as chips. The other great thing about this, not only is it $114 in paper, it's only $59 online. And that means it's easily rentable are easily put together. If you cut Goblin Guide, you shave $25 off the price of it in paper. And if you cut Eidolon, you shave $40 off of it in online. I would not necessarily recommend playing this without Eidolon. Eidolon is one of the best cards in the deck. And with that out of the way, let's play some fucking Legacy. We have won the Dora, which is huge for us. However, the 4 lander's kind of rough. But maybe we'll just draw no more lands and win the game. I believe in the heart of the cards. Goblin Guide. It's at this point that our opponent is like, guess we're going to fight Burn. It's one of those things where you don't really get to hide your intentions for very long. And Goblin Guide gave them a Christmas present of Polluted Delta. On the upside of having 4 lands is that we can play for Sulfuric Vortex through days. Volcanic Island and a Bolt on our guide from our opponent. Not ideal, but yeah. And we drew another land, which is not what we wanted to see. Going to Chain Lightning our opponent. There's not really much reason to hold on to it right now. A Polluted Delta into Volcanic Island from our opponent. I think our opponent's going to be on Delver with the Volks and the Lightning Bolts. There's a Dreadhorde Arcanist. We drew a Fire Blast, which is fine, but it's not ideal. We're going to not play our Vortex into a potential daze, and we're going to try and resolve it next turn with an extra mana up. Ponder from our opponent. They get in with one of the most powerful cards from War of the Spark, but also one of the least obnoxious somehow. And they're going to recast their Ponder and draw an extra card off of it. That's so fucking strong. It's absurd. But I guess I'm being a bit hyperbolic. I don't know if it's actually absurd. It's just really fucking good. We take 1 going to 19, play a Wasteland. Haha, your magic has no power here. We're going to slam a Vortex. We're going to get Force of Will, I really hope we know. They have 7 cards in hand though. They do. This is pretty bad for us. We've drawn 6 lands total now, 4 of which were in our opening hand. Probably shouldn't have kept the 4-lander. Delver of Secrets from our opponent. Preordain from our opponent, which will then get recast by the Dreadhorde Arcanist, and fuck me. We drew a Rift Bolt, which we're probably going to have to fire off at the Delver or something, which is kind of... I think at that point we're just losing. We're going to shoot their face. It puts us only 2 3-damage spells plus our Fire Blast from killing them. The Delver flips quite naturally as they see more cards of their library thanks to their cantrips than if they were just, I don't know, thumbing through it gleefully. And that means they can set up the Insect Liberation flip. Brainstorm is resolved, meaning they just get to do whatever the fuck they want. But hopefully they are not finding the counter magic they need, the Force of Wills. Because we can play through dazes thanks to the flood. They're going to cast another fucking Brainstorm. No, they're not. They're going to bolt us. Holy shit. That's aggressive. We're on 11, they're on 10. We drew a Goblin Guide, which is not... It's not terrible, but it's not great. This means another 4 damage spell plus the Fire Blast plus a Goblin Guide making contact will kill them. But they might have removal in hand, as they have got 6 cards in hand. We're going to attack. They're going to get a trigger. The Goblin Guide gives them another Wasteland. No removal spell. Our opponent goes to 8, which means they're dead to like double Fire Blast or Fire Blast plus Exquisite Firecraft, for example. Or a Flame Rift, actually, if we're not too low ourselves. They cast a Brainstorm. Thanks for fetching on the Polluted Delta on their end step. They're actually on 7, which means they're dead to Fire Blast plus the 3 damage spell. Now, I'm going to assume they have some hard counter magic. Obviously, Force of Will costs them a life, making them on a virtual 6. They don't have a blocker. Goblin Guide plus Fire Blast kills them if they have to force another spell. Second copy of Arcanist. So this will block our Goblin Guide. So the Goblin Guide is now not part of the mathematical equation that we're doing on the fly, like some sort of fucking super scientist. 6 cards in hand, 2 mana up. They're going to Brainstorm again. So they're going to have 7 cards in hand, and they've juggled the cards in their hand on top of their library so much that I'm going dizzy. So we get a 7 here, and we need to draw a 3 damage burn spell and get it through counter magic to win. We drew a Chain Lightning, so that is definitely something. Let's Chain Lightning our opponent. They have a Force of Will. No, they don't have a Force of Will, sorry. They go to 4. We're going to float 2 mana. We're going to cast Fire Blast and target them and sack 2 mountains. They have a Force of Will to stop this. They have a Force of Negation to stop this. Okay, that doesn't cost them any life. That's probably pretty fucking bad for us, honestly. Goblin Guide's going to be on blocks so that we don't die to all 3 creatures attacking plus a bolt. Also, don't forget Goblin Guide won't get through. Dreadhorde Arcanist is a 1/3 for some reason. Pretty fucking good. We need to draw a Fire Blast, an Exquisite Firecraft, or a Flame Rift. Flame Rift will draw the game, because it will kill both of us. I don't know how that works on mode. Of course, any lightning... any lightning bolt effect kills us. We get a 4 here. Oh, I should have paid to kill a Dreadhorde. But then they could have paid to shoot us back. And then I couldn't have paid to... Yeah, they attack and kill us. Cool. At least we had to bring Price of Progress in post-board against them, which is pretty hot. I'd love to play first. Let's give it a go. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna I'm going to give this a shot. Our turn 1 no creature is a bit shit. So going like turn 1 burn spell is not actually that good. What we really want to do is hit our opponent with a Monetary Swift Spirit or Goblin Guy because it gives us a recurring source of damage. Especially with a Monetary Swift Spirit because it makes you follow up burn spells and enchantments and such. Pretty good. So the turn 1 Mountain of Chain Lightning is not ideal. But our hand isn't terrible. It's lands and spells. So I'm going to keep it. I'm going to use my mana efficiently. Play my daze, just get 3 damage in here. Hopefully they'll force the Eidolon, or daze the Eidolon, and then the next Eidolon will resolve, then the Spherical Vortex will resolve, and so on and so on. Polluted Delve from our opponent. We can't really not play anything next turn with the Eidolon, because if it resolves, it does so much damage to our opponent casting cantrips. They play the Delver, I mean they've probably got Daze up. Got a Goblin Guide. We could hit them with Goblin Guide and play around Daze now because we're drawing a 1-drop. I'm going to slam the Eidolon. Because this way, if they get Dazed, it puts them back a little bit. Next time we can slam the Eidolon and the Goblin Guide. So I'm okay with this. They have the Daze, sure. We expect it. This at least means they're not upkeep brainstorming to flip the Delver. So hopefully, if Lady Luck is shining upon us, if the magic gods aren't being bastards today, this won't flip. Oh, magic gods. Thank you. They have 7 cards in hand, one of which is a Volcanic Island. They play the Volcanic Island, and they do nothing else. Sweet. They're going to attack us for 1, taking us to 19. Aggressive, but it makes sense. Delver decks are basically just glorified burn decks. They're burn decks for people who think they're smarter than they are. Ponder from our opponent. I really want to resolve the Searing, but it kills even a flip Delver. So we can go Eidolon. Oh, well, no, I should have done this. This plays on days. They have a Force of Will, sure. They go to 15, and then we're going to Goblin Island down to 13. Then hopefully we can resolve the Searing Blood to kill the Delver, and then we can Vortex the following turn. I'm in a good spot. We gave them the Skolden Tarn because our Goblin Guide just gives gifts. We're kind. We're generous. We're a generous burn deck. Force of Will revealed on top of the library. Okay, I guess we're going to slam the Vortex to force out the Force and then have the sort of Searing Blood resolve because without a clock, we're in a better spot. Of course, the Arcanist is now going to recast the Ponder when they attack, which kind of sucks. Got a mountain. I think we Vortex here. Now, they could let this resolve, and if they force the Searing Blood post-Vortex next turn, they can win the clock, but they've pitched Spell Snare, which could have got our Searing Blood there, to the Force of Will. I wonder if they're going to have, like, straight hot fire counter magic at all times, or whether we're going to get to resolve any actual spells. So this turn we're going to take at least 3, and they'll Ponder. Or if they've got a Bolt, they'll kill the Goblin Guy, then Bolt our face. Sprite Dragon. Oh, dearie me. Okay. Maybe we need to kill the Sprite Dragon over the Delver. Doesn't feel right, but here we are. They're going to cast Ponder of the Dreadful Arcanist, which is going to grow the Sprite. If they have one more spell off this Tarn, which the Ponder might find them, like a Bolt or a Brainstorm, they can grow the Sprite Dragon again. They don't. I'm going to block the Dreadful Arcanist to save some life. Take 5 and go to 11. I'm going to untap. Draw another fucking mountain, because everybody loves a good fucking mountain. Searing Blood the Delver. Delver dies, they take 3 and go to 9. We're then going to take them down to 7, hopefully. They find a Delver on top of their library, so it doesn't go to hand, but they're drawing Delver next turn. They can obviously shuffle that away with the Tarn, but they might want it. They go to 7. We need to draw a 3-drop and a 4... That's not a 3-drop. A 3 damage and a 4 damage spell in a row, or get through the guide and draw 2 3s. And have them not have a 4th piece of counter magic this game. Of course, we're under a clock, we're on 11. They have a Dreadful Arcanist and a Sprite Dragon. They've got 1 card in hand. It's obviously not a spell. They would have cast it, so I think they've got another land in hand. They attack with the Sprite Dragon, which is 2. They can't attack with Dreadful Arcanist. A, we'll get any value, and B, it means the Golden Guy will get through, so they can't do that. We're going to tap and draw another fucking mountain. Okay, we'll just pass back to our opponent. At this point, I think we've lost, because we've drawn 5, 6 fucking mountains. Like, just under a third of our fucking mountains. Oh my god. Imagine if we drawn a third of our burn spells. How incredible that would have been. Okay, does the Delver of Secrets flip? It does not. So hopefully they draw a land. Hopefully they're brooking. Okay, they're cracking the Tarn anyways. Whatever they saw they didn't want. Probably a land. They go to 6 here. So 2 3 damage burn spells kill them. No flip on the Delver gives us a chance. In the words of that Jim Carrey. Do I want to quote Jim Carrey? Is Jim Carrey cool? I know his ex-wife. Is he still with Jenna McCarthy? The anti-vaxxer? I don't fucking know. What do we draw? Firecraft, eh? Right, well, that's something. We're going to Firecraft them. We're on 7 currently. If they flip the Delver and find a Bolt, we die. They're on 2. What does the Delver reveal? Please not a Bolt. Please just find them another land. Yes, it looks like they bricked. So we're going to see a Sprite Dragon coming in, I assume. Yep. Which will take us to 5. which puts us dead to double bolt if they've got it, but they would have played a bolt and then Dreadhorde Arcanist to fire off the bolt, a bolt or a chain lightning or whatever if they had it. They do have a Delver. So we just need to top like a burn spell here. I don't think they got counter magic. Hup! Okay, here we go. Did we get there? Hands in the air! Hands off the keyboard! Did we get there? Oh. That's one of the exciting things about burn, is that it's so bad. You are sometimes playing by the skin of your arsehole. Okay, multiple points of progresses, a chain lightning and a searing blood. You know what? It's got no turn 1 damage output, but I'm going to keep it off the strength of those price of progress. I'm not going to fire them off until we've whittled through their undoubted fucking 6 copies of counter magic they seem to have every game. My opponent's going to turn 1 Delver, which means they've definitely got a daze. So, do I fire the chain lightning off knowing this? I'm playing Swift Spear. It resolved. It was F6'd. Interesting. That means they haven't got a daze or a force of will. We get him for 1 here, taking them to 18. Now, do we see an upkeep Brainstorm? Is that what they kept this hand? But I don't know why I'm assuming my opponent will keep good hands. I'm not keeping good hands. It flipped. Like, raw flipped. They've raw dogged it. They've got a Ponder. They've got a Dreadhorde Arcanist. Okay, we can chain lightning that. Playing around days. Which is sweet. We're going to take 3 and get a 7 here. We drew another mountain, which is fantastic. We're going to go chain lightning into the Arcanist. Because I don't want them casting that Ponder and then casting the Ponder again. Absolutely not. Arcanist dies. Because we are now the control deck. I'm going to 2 them down to 16. So we're losing the race at the moment. And they played a basic mountain last turn, which is important for the price of progress in our hands. Yeah, we kind of need them to play less basics, please. Brainstorm from our opponent, which will leave them with 5 cards in hand, one of which will be Ponder. No third land, which in some ways is a blessing, other ways a bit of a curse, considering we have double price in hand. We drew an Eidolon. We're going to play a Searing Blood, but playing around days, but not around Force of Will. They obviously force us to protect the Queen. If they've got it, they don't. They go to 13 thanks to the Searing Blood damage, and then we just slap them with a 2/3 Monastery Swift Spear. This puts us really in the driving seat. As you can see, having a persistent source of damage like a Monastery Swift Spear on board makes our all our draws just infinitely better. I probably shouldn't be keeping hands without them. Young Peasy. We drew a Rift Bolt. I'm gonna cast an Eidolon, and they scoop. Burn got him. We have lost the die roll, but we have 3 lands, 4 spells, and one of them is a consistent source of damage in Goblin Guide. This is good. This is pretty good. This might be our best hand yet. Let's see if our opponent randomly combo kills us. Combo being one of our worst matchups pre-board. Misty Rainforest, Island, and Basic Island, goddammit. Ponder. So we're going to lead this Throne of Eldraine Mountain to Goblin Guide. Get them for 2. On top of the library is a Brazen Borrower. So that means they're probably not a combo deck. Although I guess Brazen Borrower could be a 1 or 2 of in some variants of combo decks as an interactive bounce spell. Nothing from our opponent other than the land. We drew another Goblin Guide. Attack for 4. Revealing Wasteland. Oh, and a Bloodstained Mire cracked. They get a basic mountain. A bounce one with the Brazen Borrower. Yeah, okay. Force of Negation. Okay. They get a 14. I'm just going to Lava Spike them now. While the tap's out. Got them. They're on 11. Dreadhorde Arcanist from our opponent. They've got a Force of Negation in hand, so they can pitch that to protect the Arcanist, because I think I want to bolt the Arcanist. Force of Negation pitching a Brainstorm, as we thought. We're going to Goblin Guide. Going to hit them for 2, because they'll block one of the Goblin Guides. We give them a Volcanic Island, and we know they're drawing Force of Will next, which will probably get out of them with a Flame Rift, and that'll allow us to stick a Sulfuric Vortex into a Fire Blast. You get a 9 here. They cast a Brainstorm. We know they've got a Volcanic Island in their hands. We know they've got another blue land drop here. Yep, there it is. Don't forget, Brazen Borrower can only block creatures with flying. They can't attack with the Arcanist because they need the blocker. Interesting. We drew an Eidolon of the Great Rebels, so we're going to go combat attack. They get a Wasteland off of one of them, Preordain off the other. The Brainstorms allow them to put lands on top to dig deeper, thanks to the Goblin Guides. There's a 10 to 7. They're going to Brainstorm. They kind of should have done in response to the second Goblin Guide trigger if they got a land in hand. So I assume they haven't got a land in hand or they misplayed. This Eidolon will 100% get Force of Willed now. There we have it. They go to 6. Young Peasy from our opponent. So we're not getting through the Goblin Guide again. They're going to attack with their Dreadhorde Arcanist, which will allow them to cast a spell out of the graveyard, in this case a Brainstorm or a Ponder, which will give them a counter thanks to the Young Pyromancer. It's pretty strong. I like it. I like it. We go to 19. They cast a Preordain. We untap and we draw an Eidolon of the Great Revels. Seems pretty good. We cast Eidolon. They have another Force of Will thanks to all the cantripping. Ditching a true name nemesis this time round. Force of Will. So they're on 5, which is close to Fire Blast range, but it's not quite. I realised last turn I took a damage off the Dreadhorde Arcanist when I could just block with a Goblin guy. That's because I'm a fucking maverick. They attack with Dreadhorde Arcanist again. I'm going to double block it this time, because I'm going to stop being a maverick and actually, you know, play Magic, not like a twat. They have a Lightning Bolt, which they probably had last turn, I assume. We're going to attack drawing a Mountain. We're going to cast a Flame Rift or Sulfuric Vortex. I guess a Vortex is real inevitability. Vortex resolves, which means they probably don't have a counterspell. No attacks from us. They're going to flash in this Brazen Borrower now, I assume. Yeah, and in response I'm going to Fire Blast them. I'm not slow rolling the Fire Blast, but I'd rather fire it when they're tapped out. Okay, we got them. Okay, that's a load of burn spells. What is this? 12 damage and burn? Yeah, okay, we'll give this a shot. We won't try sticking the Eidolon until we've got through a Daze or a Force of Will, because, well, it's going to do a lot of damage to us too, and we don't want to get raced by Delver. Delver receives from our opponent. Drew a Goblin Guide, which is going to be our first turn play. Got to get that damage in. In he goes. Where will he stop? Well, apparently I had Ravnican Island. Okay, so we gave them an island, put them to 18. Ponder onto the library. Insectile Aberration is now in the fucking house. We're going to cast a Dreadhorde Arcanist, which we're going to Chain Lightning the shit out of. Chain Lightning the Dreadhorde Arcanist. They have a Force of Will. We're then going to Lightning Bolt the Dreadhorde Arcanist. I mean, this is 6 damage we're not firing at their face, but we get through for 2 with the Goblin Guide, and they don't get to recast the Ponder that we know they got in their hand, and they're now drawing a Brainstorm too. So it cuts them off on resources. They go to 15. Next turn, if we draw a mountain, I'm slamming the Eidolon. Brainstorm from our opponent. Frustrating they only cast 2 cantrips this turn without an Eidolon, but they had a force anyway, so the Eidolon would have got forced regardless. Tarn for a basic or Tarn for a Volk? For a basic. God damn it, they know. They know about Price of Progress. Another Dreadhorde Arcanist. Fuck. 3 us in the air. We want to draw a land here, so we can go Eidolon, no Daze, Lightning Bolt the Dreadhorde. We didn't draw what we wanted. Okay, let's bolt the Arcanist. Do they have another Force of Will? They do. Pitching both cards in their hand. There's Force of Will. Cool. And then we're going to Lightning Bolt it again. And then we're going to get in the red zone. Jeez. Okay. We're not winning this race right now. They got Young Peasy on top, so that's not ideal. But that said, they're going to draw Young Peasy, play Young Peasy. Then we're going to hopefully draw a Mountain, go Eidolon into Lava Spike. Or Lava Spike into Eidolon, should I say. And then maybe win. No, attacking with the Delver. Cool, 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 cool. Mountain. Lava Spike you. Play an Eidolon. No attacks. Don't want to lose my Goblin Guide. They've drawn 1 card. They got 1 card in their hand. It's a Scolden Tarn. Do they attack the Aberration in the air? Doesn't seem too hot. Nope. We draw a Price of Progress. Sweet. We're going to shoot them for 4. This cannot be countered because we have Spell Mastery. Doesn't matter, they have counters anyway. They've got 0 cards in hand. They go to 4. Now, if we price, they can always just go ahead and crack the Tarn and find a basic, or just fail to find to reduce the damage it does. They can also Wasteland themselves if they draw and play a Wasteland. They drew a Lightning Bolt. Okay. This takes them to 2. Puts them with no cards in hand, which means when we untap and price them, they die. We untap. We cast Price of Progress. And they die. GG. Burn E. Sometimes you win the die roll. Let's fucking go. Okay, the whole consistent red source of damage thing. This isn't it. I can't keep a 5-lander. I'm not that dumb. Let's go ahead and mulligan. This, on the other hand, it's 6 cards. It's 3 lands, a body, and some spells that do the burny. Right, let's go with Recurring Shock, man. Putrid Imp. Oh, opponent appears to be on some form of either Reanimator or Dredge. Graveyard decks are not our best matchup. That's why you often see multiple Tormod's Crypts of Faerie Carbs and sideboard. Sometimes I'm just like, fuck it, I won't bother having sideboards and burn against it, but Faerie Carb at least fights Uro as well if you're really fucking pressed for it. Bad lands, so that's good. Why I said it's good, I don't know. So there's some form of Hogak, right? Like that's or some sort of Vengevine deck. They've got to be. Alt of Dementia, Swamp, and a Putrid Imp. Yep. It's some form of Delver. Delver? What the fuck am I talking about? It's some form of Hogak. I literally just had a moment where I slipped back in time and talked about the matches we just had. God, Magic is hard. Life is hard. Existence is pain. On the topic of pain, that's a Chain Lightning. Okay, let's go to combat. They're going to block the Stitcher Supplier, but the quicker we have off the board, the better. Although they might not if they needed to convoke the Hogak. There's a Hogak in hand, so they might not block here because they want to get 2 black creatures or green creatures into play. to allow them to convoke and spend the coloured mana here with the convoke. Cool. So I might be chain lightning the Stitcher Supplier to stop them from playing a Hogak next turn. Yeah, sure, why not? Do you value your Stitcher Supply? I don't value your Stitcher Supply. Get out of here. Get out of town. Double Hogak and a bridge from below. Jesus Christ. Okay, having no bodies in play when the bridge is in play in graveyard is good. They now have access to 3 different Hogaks. Oh no, they don't. That was the one that I just revealed. Duh. But they have access to 2 Hogaks at least. They have 6 cards in hand, one of which is the Putrid Imp that they drew on turn 1. Yeah, they would have drawn it. They would have drawn it. Putrid Imp from our opponent. Luckily, it cannot block. If they fail to play a land or another creature, I might be Exquisite Firecrafting the Putrid Imp. Which sounds insane, but I don't want a Hogak to either A, smash my tits in, or B, shoot my tits in with an Altar of Dementia. Those are both the technical terms used by official coverage teams within Magic the Gathering. Vengevine in the bin. Vengevine in the bin. If they go land another creature, we're in trouble. They can now Cabal Therapy by sacking the Putrid Imp to name something and they get a zombie off of it. Not bad. They're gonna do it. They're gonna do it. What would you name here, chat? Comment section. Everyone who's watching at home, touching yourself. Stop touching yourself and answer me a question. What would you name with Cabal Therapy here? Burn player with 1 red mana. I should have fucked with them. I should have tapped him out and then untapped it and, you know, to pretend I had a 1-drop. Hopefully they don't name Fire Blast or Exquisite Firecraft. Weirdly. I don't want to... Strangely enough, I don't want to name either things in my current hand. Fire Blast? Fuck, they named it. That was upsetting. Okay. Mountain. So we can shoot 4 at their face, or we can kill the zombie. If they block my zombie, they lose the bridge. If they block my Goblin Guide, so they lose the bridge from below. So I think I'll allow them to do that. Cabal Therapy on top of their library. Okay. Might as well use the Firecraft now then, because I'm not going to have it next turn. Do they block? I don't think they do. I think having a zombie and a bridge is just so important. Nope. They're going to lose the bridge. Cool. Okay. The bridge goes. Gets exiled because one of our creatures died. In the second main phase, I'm going to Firecraft them because it's a sorcery speed spell and they're about to draw Cabal Therapy. They go to 12. All they need to do is play a land and 2 creatures. However, they've only got 3 cards in hand, none of which are lands because we know what they're drawing with the Cabal Therapy, and one of which is Cabal Therapy. So they're going to just cast this now to try and get the last card in our hand. What would you name here? Burn opponent's tapped out, they got 1 unknown. What would you name? I think I would just name any 1-drop. Well, it's obvious I don't have 1-drop burn spells, otherwise I would have shot the zombie prior to combat, wouldn't I? Actually, I don't think I would have done, but that might be what they're thinking. They named Price of Progress and didn't hit it. We drew a mountain. I'm not going to play it, because I want to think we've got... Oh no, they know about one of the mountains, don't they? Let's play the mountain they know about, and pass the turn. The draw a card we don't know. 3 cards in hand. Is it a land? Marsh Flats, okay. There's no Bloodghast in the bin, so that's okay. Altar of Dementia, okay. Island on the Great Rivers is pretty good here. Do a lot of work. Won't do anything against a Hogak being cast, but if they cast like a creature, then another creature, it'll for them. Also makes Cabal Therapy remarkably worse. But double creature into like double Vengevine coming back, into make a Hogak, into Altar of Dementia kill us, would be pretty good. But it appears they don't have double creature in hand. Or even any creature for that matter. Drew a Vortex, which is good. We're going to proceed to the slap step and slap them with the Island on the Great Revels. Andrew WK, partying hard over here. They go to 9. And then we're going to go to 18 when we cast Sulfuric Vortex, which will help us just inevitably kill them because they take damage every turn. They can't gain life. Not that their deck has any way to gain life in it, I don't think. They take 2 here. Go to 7. They cast a Faithless Looting going to 5. Oh, that's hot. Can they transform this into land plus 2 creatures to bring back both Vengevines? Can they do it? But I guess 2 creatures would put them to 1, which would make Vortex kill them. I don't think their deck has a way at 5 life to get out of an Eidolon plus Sulfuric Vortex. I guess playing lands to get the Bloodghast back actually isn't terrible. Actually, that allows them to cast Hogaks. Oh boy. Bayou brings back 1 Bloodghast, thank goodness, not 2. 1 card left in hand. There's also a bridge from below in play in graveyard. So if they Cabal Therapy with the Bloodghast here, they do get to make a Zombo still. They can also alter themselves to try and hit Narcomoebas if they're playing them, but I don't think the Vengevine variants of Hogak decks play Narcos, but I could be wrong. It's been a while since I've played one. They're going to cast Cabal Therapy going to 3. They're going to make a zombie off the bridge from below. And they're going to try and name 1 more card in our hand. Little do they know we've got another fucking mountain, because everybody loves a good fucking mountain, right? Price of Progress named again. It's hilarious that we don't actually have it in our deck and then naming it with Cabal Therapy. Part of me makes me not want to side it in for that reason. So we've got like extra equity on our Cabal Therapies, the blind ones that they're firing off for naming price. We go to 16. We drew a mountain. We'll play the one they know about, even though they've got the same art. I won't be attacking with Eidolon, because it dying gives them a chance, a very small chance. Now on their turn, they're going to do 1. If they cast any spells of 3 CMC or less, they take 2 damage. I feel like I'm playing Prison when I have a Sulfuric Vortex and Eidolon in play, where they can't gain life, they can't cast certain spells. Yeah, it feels like a Prison deck at that point. Bloodgust comes back. Honestly, they could randomly like combo kill us out here by sacking the Bloodgust, milling themselves, getting a bridge from below, triggered 2 zombies. Cast a Hogak by exiling those stuff in their graveyard. This will then allow them to alter dimension target us. I think they can kill us here. Target themselves, sorry, to get more bridges or more things in the bin. They then need to crack their Bloodstained Mire to bring back the Bloodgust again, which will then allow them to sack it, get some more zombies, recast Hogak, then that'll trigger, get both Vengevines back, and then they should have enough power to mill us out. That's right, they're on 1 life, and they might just get there because, yeah, all they need to do now is cast Hogaks. So they target themselves with a Hogak off the Altar of Dementia. Actually, the correct thing last turn for me to do, to not die to this, was attack with my Eidolon, because they had to block it. If they blocked it, they lost the bridge, which means the Bloodgast didn't do this. Triple bridging break. Yeah, actually, weirdly, the whole prison thing didn't work out. I had to attack them with the Eidolon to get rid of the bridge from below to give them no outs. Shit. 3 bridge triggers from our opponent. And there we go. 3 Vengevines coming back with a second copy of Hogak. And there we have it. They got there in the end. I want to show you as it happened, but I got distracted by Twitter as it was going off. Yeah, they have looped Hogaks, sacking them to altar to mill themselves until they had enough gas, making a lot of zombies. Then you can sack the last Hogak plus the zombies to target us. I played this deck several times on the channel. Yeah, we're fucked. And off we go in game 2 of round 3. We have Eidolons and Rift Bolts and Fire Blasts. This feels like a Cabal Therapy soft hand, doesn't it? We're gonna give it a shot, he says, with none of his Fairy Macabres, none of his Smash to Smithereens, and double cards in hand. Double Fire Blast is pretty fucking rough, actually. I need to draw 2 more mountains for this to be live. Or I could just draw 4 more mountains for it to be live. Who knows? Who the fuck knows? Our opponent's mulligan to 5, but to be fair, their deck does mulligan pretty well. We're going to suspend a Rift Bolt and pass the turn. They can go for the blind Cabal Therapy naming price of progress. No, we see a Stitch Supplier, so we might see double Cabal Therapy next turn, which will just rip our hand to shreds, which will be a shame, but there we go. We're going to suspend Bolt their face. Draw a Goblin guy. We're just going to play an Eidolon here to get it out of our hand. I'm very, very fucking nervous about a Cabal Therapy. I guess it hitting an Eidolon and then both Fire Blasts also takes 2 cards out of our hand, I guess. We're not casting both those Fire Blasts this game, most likely. I would love to just not see Cabal Therapy right now. Altar of Dementia, there it is, okay. So what do we want to draw next turn? We want to draw a mountain, so we go Goblin Guide into Eidolon. We draw a Bolt, which is not terrible. We're going to play Goblin Guide. Take 2, go into 18. I'm going to attack our opponent. I assume they'll block with Stitcher and then sack it into their bin with Altar, which will mill them for a whole bunch. Well, I say a whole bunch, it'll be 4. But if they don't do that, I guess I'm going to bolt it. There's a Hogak on top of their library, so they want to keep their Stitcher around, so I'm going to bolt the Stitcher. Now they'll sack it to the Altar to get the extra 1 mil, I would assume. This is again just trying to deny them having the Hogak. They hit Hogak, Altar, and Cabal Therapy. Now, we can always Fire Blast one of our own creatures, by the way, to turn off bridges if they get really online with it. It's not the best line, because it costs us 2 mountains and a card in hand and a creature, but it's still a line. There's a Vengevine in their bin as well from the Altar of Dementia, so if they play 2 creatures, they do get a Vengevine. If they play 2 creatures and get a Vengevine, they might just go off with a Hogak, honestly. We'd have to pot the bridges with a Fire Blast, which is not where I want to be, honestly. Carrion Feeder from our opponent. They go to 9 thanks to the Eidolon. It can't block. Interesting. Fairy Macabre's pretty good here. And by pretty good, I mean literally fucking insane. We attack with both our bodies, showing us that they got a polluted delta. We're going to the hand for top of the library text goblin guide. They go to 5. They're just going to slam a second Eidolon and blast them the moment they're below the life total that they need to be. I don't want to eat the Cabal therapy here with the Fairy Macabre, because I want them to cast the Cabal therapy so we can blast them in response. Nope, they realise they're dead. We lost the die roll, but we have a smash, 2 guides, and an Eidolon, so yeah, fine. I think this is fine. Turn 1, the Cabal therapy, blind lane goblin guide. Please don't! One time! That would be a bad line from them, but it would be good in this exact circumstance. Putrid Imp, okay. We're going to guide them. Guide them to their death, am I right? We gave them a Bayou. They're on 17, we pass back. They discard a Vengevine and a Bloodghast to their Impy Boy. They're going to crack a Bloodstained Mire here, which will bring back the Bloodghast. And then if they can cast 2 creatures, they'll get Vengevine 2. Which, it's kind of scary, because we've got to smash the Smithereens to deal with this altar. And if they just aggro us down... Oh, hello there. Well, hello there. Now, they might sack their Bloodghast now, but maybe they want to attack with it first. Either way, I'm going to blow up that fucking altar. I'm going to kill it dead. No attack from our opponent. I assume they plan to block and sack is what they're going to do there. But not today, Satan. They are going to sack their Bloodghast and themselves as a Vengevine and altar goes to the bin. Do they keep the Putrid Imp around? That's a question. They do. Cool. They're on 13. We're going to go to combat and get in for a slap. Wapa! At you with the Goblin Guide. They reveal a polluted delta, so they get a delta. Goblin Guide always bringing presents. Again, we are equal opportunity, generous burn players. I think generous burn player sounds like a... No. It's not a thing. Oxymoron, is that what I'm looking for? It's an oxymoron. They play a Gravecaller and they reanimate a Bloodghast with land. That's 2 creatures they can't block. The Putrid Imp can, though. They're going to get in for 1 with the Putrid Imp. They discard a card to hit us for 2. Okay. Maybe they are on the true aggro plan here. We drew another smash, which is not ideal, but it's not terrible. We're going to go Goblin Guide into Eidolon here. Attack for 4. They get a Marsh Flats. And they get a Hogak on top of their line with the drawing next turn that they can cast. They can convoke out a Hogak, which puts a bit of a stop to our frontal assault. They take 4 going to 7. Is this an abrupt decay on our end step for our Eidolon? It's a trophy on our Eidolon, which is good, because that means we can go Swift Spear into Exquisite Firecraft next turn, so that's way better than the abrupt decay. So we're going to grab our Mountain and pass back to our opponent. They're on 5. They're on 5. So they die to a connection from any creature plus the Exquisite Firecraft being 5 damage. None of their creatures currently can block, but Vengevines and Hogaks can. So they can go like 1 drop, cast a Hogak. That'll bring back both Vengevines. It'll give them quite a lot of blockers. Hell, that'll give them quite a lot of damage, honestly. So here's Hogak. Putrid Imp can block again now as well because they've shrunk their graveyard. That's pretty clever. No other creature for the Vengevines. No attacks from the Imp. We drew another Firecraft, so we're going to go Swift Spear, Firecraft them. If they have a Trophy or a Decay, they can survive this attack. They go to 1 from the Firecraft, and then we go to attack them with 3 bodies. And we've got to hope the 2 cards in hand, because they're not creatures, we know this, and they've missed the land drop, I believe, as well. So they could well be removal spells. We give them both a Badlands and a Marsh Flats. Okay. It may have been more safe not to swing there. If they had a removal spell, they could have killed something double blocked, untapped, and then started swinging back at us. We could have just killed them over turns of 2 Firecraft, but it turned out okay.
I love the smell of napalm in the morning.
Goblin Guide and some 3 damage for 1 mana. What more could you ask for? Well, I guess an Eidolon would be nice. Preordained from our opponent off a tropical island. We're going to slam a Goblin Guide. This might get dazed, but I don't think we mind if it does. It puts them back a little bit, and we have to play things on curve to kill them before they get out ahead of us. This could be anything. Preordained off a tropical island, could be any sort of combo, could be a Delver deck, could be Storm even, could be anything. Misty Rainforest revealed. Goblin Guide has been very bad this league of giving us information. Sometimes it will reveal a card, like, I don't know, a Tendrils of Agony, and you're like, oh, they're Storm. Other times, just gives them lands over and over and over, which gives them both card advantage and information. The cool thing I always thought about Goblin Guide is that it's a guide not only giving your opponents lands, it's guiding them through the lands thematically, but it's also guiding you on what your opponent's doing. But yeah, not today. Dreadhorde Arcanist. This feels familiar. We're going to Lava Spike them and suspend a Rift Ball. Absolutely no reason to attack. We might risk giving them a card, but we don't want to. Lightning Bolt our Goblin Guide, which means they'll probably now Dreadhorde Arcanist to Lightning Bolt our face. So I guess that bolting our face helps them end the game quicker, because obviously eventually we will kill them. We have a critical mass of burn spells, but they might just draw another card here if they're like struggling to find a land drop, or they want to hit a Force of Will or similar. Land drop already hit. And then they're going to go to combat. I'm assuming we're going to see a Brainstorm or a Preordain from them. Although they just cracked left edge, so it'll be a Preordain, not a Brainstorm. There we go. Delver of Secrets from our opponent. We're going to untap. We're going to Rift Bolt that Dreadhorde Arcanist dead. Force of Will protects the Arcanist. We drew a Flame Rift. I think I'm just going to kill the Dreadhorde Arcanist so they can't keep drawing cards and bolting us. We have 7 damage in hand, they have 12 life, so we need to find 5 more damage after this. Now I guess we could have gone like Lava Spike, Flame with them, Firecraft them. Actually now I've stopped to think. I got a bit too obsessed with killing that Dreadhorde Arcanist. We should have just killed them. Aberration has flipped and is now hitting us down to 16. Opponent has 3 cards in hand. We're going to go Monastery Swift Spear. We're going to go Flame Rift. They're going to bolt our Swift Spear, sure. We're not going to fire the Lava Spike now in case of a daze. They go to 8, we go to 12. Ow. Maybe we should have left the Flame Rift till our last spell because of the Aberration plus bolts. Although we've seen 2 bolts from them already, so they've only got 2 more in their deck. They might have some copies of Chain Lightning though in Rug Delver. Take 3 here from the recurring Lightning Bolt going to 9. We're on a 3-turn clock here on out. We drew a Lava Spike, so we're going to spike them. And we're going to spike them again. And pass back to our opponent. They're on 2, so next turn, even a Goblin Guide top decked will kill them, and Eidolon will not kill them, but it'll threaten them. So here we're getting hit for 3 down to 6, and they can actually kill us next turn if their Delver flips. So we need to rip a burn spell, and their last 3 cards not to involve a straight up Force of Will, basically. Exquisite Firecraft will be our best possible top deck. We draw a Mountain. Okay, so what we need to do is pretend we're slow rolling a Fire Blast, and hope that other Delver doesn't flip to give us another draw. It's a Brainstorm. We're dead. They're pausing to think, though. I don't know if they think we're slow rolling them. Why aren't they attacking? Okay, we're going to play first this time around. There's a possibility that Final Exquisite Firecraft at their face would have actually had them dead, but we can't really say because they would have had a Dreadhorde Arcanist hitting our face and drawing them cards, so it's difficult. We're going to keep this. We're going to go Mountain, pass the turn to our opponent. We will happily bolt a Delver and end step for them to daze it to untap and cast the Eidolon freely. Oh, I tapped for a green then. That was me Nimble Mongoose and I shit myself. I can't kill a Nimble Mongoose. I'll die. That said, bolting the Delver is a bit rough because then we can't Searing Blood the Arcanist. So yeah, maybe that was wrong. Okay, no dazes, no forces. Eidolon resolves. We might see a red source into a lightning bolt now. No, it's a Dreadhorde Arcanist zapping them. Sweet. I'm going to bolt their Arcanist. I'll play a second Eidolon. The beauty of attacking with an Eidolon into an Arcanist is that you can Searing Blood after the fact, actually. So maybe it's not so bad. Now we have 2 Eidolons in play, so every spell they cast costs 4 life. I really want to slam this Vortex, but that also costs us 4 life, but I'll be doing it anyway. This is a True Name Nemesis, I feel a little bit sad. It's 3 mana for a Clothis. This gains them life. I guess I do slam this Etheric Vortex and say fuck it. No life gain for you, but I will take 4. Okay, cool. Let's go to sideboarding. Okay. 2 removal spells, a spike, an Eidolon, and a Price of Progress. This doesn't seem all that bad. Preordain from our opponent. We can play a Mountain here. We can just Lava Spike them. If they daze this, I wouldn't give 2 shits. We want our Eidolon to resolve, so I might be casting something else next turn with the intent of it eating a counterspell to then resolve the Eidolon the following turn. They're now going to cast another cantrip Ponder. Thinking. Mischief Reinforce from our opponent. We draw another Mountain. Do I want to slam this Eidolon? They could even have a Spell Snare here. No, I'll wait. I'm going to hold up Searing Blood to kill a Delver or a Pyromancer if they cast it next turn. We can also price them an end if they fetch a non-basic as well. Tropical Island from our opponent. Hooting Mandrills from our opponent. That's a big boy. I'm going to attempt to price now because this will get rid of a counterspell if they have one. Yeah, there's the Force of Will. Okay, get rid of a Delver as well. So we can Chain Lightning plus Searing Blood to kill the Hooting Mandrills. That'll be 2 spells to kill 1, 3 them. Won't be great. That said, if they brought a Goblin Guide, I can also just Searing Blood it. I'm playing Eidolon first. I'm not going to go attacking into the mandrills here. That seems like a bad idea. I'm going to chain lightning my Eidolon, which costs them a card and 2 damage. I'm cool with it. Oko is a problem. Making a food every turn gives them a lot of extra life. To the point that I don't know if I can be an Oko, actually. It's something I hadn't really considered. I guess Swift Spear? Don't even redirect the damage to the Planeswalkers anymore. The redirection rule really buffed Oko too. It's pretty crazy. We're going to chain lightning the Oko. We're going to spend all our resources on trying to kill this Oko, which is fucking tragic. We need a Sulfuric Vortex, really. Then we're going to go attacking. Attack the Oko. This doesn't seem right. I haven't played as Oko with Burn yet. I love the way that this is what's ruining our fucking league record. Ugh. Dreadhorde Arcus on top of the library is pretty bad for us. They block the Swift Spear, of course, and then we're just going to Searing Blood the Hooting Mandrills. We'll take them to 10. We'll take Oko to 1. Oko can then make another food, or we can make an Elk to protect itself, and they're casting a Dreadhorde Arcanist next turn. So we need to draw a Sulfuric Vortex or we lose. I just don't think ignoring the Oko is a possibility. They're going to gain 3 life now, they can gain 3 life next turn, then gain 3 life the turn after, and so on and so on. We drew a Fire Blast, which gives us a very small chance. We're going to Fire Blast the Oko away. I mean, it's only gained them 6 life and cost me like 4 cards, or 5 cards if you include the mountain, 6 cards if you include the... I don't fucking know. A lot. It's only completely and utterly fucked me, probably because I played into it incorrectly. They have 2 cards in hand. They have a food token in play, a Dreadhorde Arcanist, which will flashback Chain Lightning and will kill our Goblin Guide. And also, in sacking those mountains, I now don't have the ability to just cast Sulfuric Vortex. It's pretty bad. No attacks from our opponent. I don't know why they didn't swing with the Arcanist, honestly. I genuinely don't. Chain Lightning being a good way of clearing up our body and getting in for some damage and just generating value, I guess. Is this another... Oh, fuck me. Okay. So we need to top deck... Oh no, we have nothing. So Sulfuric Vortex is our literal only option here. And even then, that's us for 3. Sure, okay, go to 17. Top deck Sulfuric Vortex, that's what we need to do. Huh? Nope, it's a mountain. Everybody loves a fucking good mountain. Huh, maybe, yeah, but I still think Burn is playable. I still think Burn is good in certain circumstances. I just think the existence of Oko makes a lot of things shit, to be fair. I guess we could draw Sulfuric next turn into Fire Blast, Fire Blast. With that, would that get them? Although it's taking us for 4 here and 7 next turn, so we're pretty close to fucking dead. And the Bolt too. Wow, okay, they're hitting us for 7 now and 10 next turn. I guess Runner Price of Progress would have been good earlier on. We drew the Vortex. It's too late though. As long as they Elk, even without the Elk. No, without the Elk they can only do 7. Maybe they forget to Elk. And then, oh, they got a Bolt on the instep anyway. GG. 5th and final round. Can we dodge Oko this time round? Let's give it a shot. And can we dodge a graveyard-based combo too if we can help it? Because that's always a bit of a... Okay, once upon a time from our opponent. They ain't fucking about. I was like, I thought we got some time before the first card came down. Nope. Here we are. It's Elves, which makes Eidolon really good. Especially as I played a bit of Elves last week, and it seems like a lot of the Elves players have stopped playing. Well, like I say, Nettle Sentinel was one of the things, but also Reclamation Sage. So they have a Rec Sage main board. Our Eidolon is very, very good. We're going to go Mountain, Chain Lightning, the Nettle Sentinels. They don't have some absurd second turn with like land into Heritage Druid untapping the Nettle Sentinels and stuff. But we'll be putting most things now at their face. Perhaps maybe killing a Wirewood Symbiote, perhaps. But hopefully this Eidolon will do God's work against our opponent. Visionary from our Elf opponent. We're going to slam an Eidolon. In many ways, actually playing the non-price variant of this deck, or like moving the prices to our sideboard, gives us more gaming against Elves' main board, because barring the guys creators on the Dryad Arbors, and I guess a couple of Bayous, they are like a forest-heavy deck. I don't know what the matchup is normally like, honestly. We don't have any form of Pyroclasms in our deck, which normally there's some form in the sideboard, maybe one, or the is it Rough and Tumble, the one that's also a Pyroclasm split card? But we haven't today. I'm gonna go Swift Spear. We're zapping ourselves a lot to cast all this stuff, by the way. Goblin Guide. And again, untappy Nettle Sentinel is really good with Heritage Druid and Virtual Rangers and just going wild. So we're going to minimise the chance of that being a problem. Also minimises the threat of a Garrus Cradle being like a natural order to kill us. Although we're going to get our life total very low, so natural order into Cradle is a legitimate concern. Take them to 13, which means Technically we're winning. Green suns for 2, which is great because that's both pinging them off the Eidolon and it's not green suns for 3 for Reclamation Sage. This could be, I don't know, a Visionary? I'm not sure what 2-drop they'll be getting. A Scoos to gain some life. Interesting. Guess I'm spending a bolt on killing that too. Get that out of here. But we're going to go to 12 for this. We're going to correct them is to get a forest and eat one of their creatures to go up to 11. We go to 12 and the Scoos dies. Now if we Flame Rift, we take 6 going to 6. But they take 4 going to 7. And then we represent lethal. So I guess we do. This is a lot of damage we're taking here. But this is lethal now to our opponent. So on 7 we have 2, 4, plus 3 is 7. So they have to block. Which means they have left creatures on board to make Gaia's Cradle, Natural Order and so on better. And Heritage Druid and Birchclaw Rangers and all that stuff. Wired Symbiont on top of their deck. Which allows them to actually have a blocker forevermore that they can bounce back to the hand and draw cards off of. So that's good. And also this takes them down to 3. So with Eidolon in play they can only cast 1 more spell. So that's nice. I actually think we're dead to a Natural Order Hoof though. Because their Natural Order, get rid of this, get a Hoof. Hoof triggers becomes a 6/6 and that's haste. We would have died to Hoof. So in classic Who's the Beatdown style, we have cut all 4 of our lava spikes because they can't kill creatures, and we've brought in an pyrostatic pillar against the combo, and Searing Blood to kill creatures. The reason for this is that we want to keep everything that can target a creature and kill it. Rift Bolt, Chain Lightning, Lightning Bolt, Searing Blood, because we are the control deck in this matchup. Unfortunately, I think this triple Firecraft hand might be too slow. Although we can suspend Rift Bolt then play Eidolon, which is not a terrible sequence for killing something, and then, you know, I'm going to give it a shot. It just becomes very slow and cumbersome if we have to hit a 3rd mountain, which we might not, so that's the first problem. But if we hit a 3rd mountain, we have to fire Firecraft after Firecraft after Firecraft into like Heritage Druids and Wirewood Symbiotes or whatever to stop them from cumbering out. It's a cumbersome way to be the control deck. They found a Llanowar Elves with it once upon a time. They cast it. We found the 3rd mountain, so part 1 of our, I was going to say combo sarcastically, our combo of 3 mountains and 3 copies of Exquisite Firecraft. That's a combo, right? Glimpse of Nature from our opponent. Now I assume this won't be a killer Glimpse of Nature, but this is going to be a very good value Glimpse of Nature. Glimpse into Quirion Ranger, draw a card. Return Forest to hand, untap Llanowar Elves. Play the Forest for the 2nd land drop, play 2 mana, play an Elvish Visionary and draw 2 cards. They're trying to get underneath an Eidolon of Great Revels to get a lot of bodies on the board. A value Glimpse. So I'm going to bolt their mana dork here, so they have less mana next turn. Play a Mountain, play an Eidolon. And now we have 12 points of burn on our hand over 3 turns. So I'm going to direct it all at their face. We need them to shoot themselves 4 more times. Right, Birchclaw Rangers. Which is going to draw, not draw them a card, but it will make them a mana, sorry. They can tap that in the Visionary to make a mana and play another creature. They return the Forest to the hand and played it anyway, without untapping a creature. Which seems strange, honestly. They could have made some mana there. I think they might have messed up. Lightning Bolt. Interesting. I'm going to Firecraft them. Now this is where it might be a mistake. Next turn they might somehow Natural Order us to death. Yeah, so... we'll see. I'm not attacking because they can double block down my Eidolon, and my Eidolon is keeping them from doing Glimpse Chains. Bolting the Birchclaw Ranger might have been legit. They're keeping the mana up to Abrupt Decay my Eidolon. Okay, fair enough. They go to 12. Next turn we can 7 them down to 5. 2 mana for Once Upon a Time. This is not looking good for them. As long as it doesn't find a Cradle. If it finds a Cradle, it's looking very good for them. Nettle Sentinel. Okay. It's pretty good with Birchclaw Rangers, honestly. Pretty good with Birchclaw Rangers. Because they can play Nettle Sentinel now, and then tap it and Visionary for a mana to play something else to untap the Sentinel. They can keep going. Wirewood Symbiote, which can now protect their Birchclaw from our Bolt. So we aren't killing any Elves now. Unless I spend 1 mana to kill the Wirewood and 3 mana to kill the Birchclaw, which would slow them down, but I think it'll be more efficient just to try and murder them now. We drew an Eidolon. I'm going to bolt their face. Oh, Firecrafting means we can untap and Firecraft them again to kill them. But they might be able to pop off with a Glimpse Chain. I'm going to Eidolon. Because they can bounce the Visionary back to the hand with a Wirewood Symbiote, for example. Attack with the Sentinel. It's just free real estate at this point. We're not going to be blocking. I mean, blocking to kill the Sentinel isn't the worst idea sometimes, but here, where our Eidolon is keeping them from glimpsing off, it's bad. We get to untap and we get to Firecraft them. They're on 4. So we're basically fucking dead to Natural Order. I guess if they play a Cradle, it would make 5, 6, 7, and then 8 mana birch claw on a creature and untap it. Yeah, a cradle into just raw crater hoofing me would be pretty brutal. This looks like a natural order. Yeah. So the correct thing would have been to do Firecraft into untap and Firecraft again. The Eidolon didn't actually do what we needed to do. Now, hopefully they've somehow cut all their crater hoof behemoths and they've only got a Progenitus and they can't kill us here. Now, for some reason and somehow, our opponent didn't get crater hoof and just murder me dead. They got an Archon of Valor's Reach, and they named Instant. And for those of you who don't know, Exquisite Firecraft is a sorcery. So, I guess, like, look, it's just better to be lucky than it is to be good. That's all I've got to say on the matter. Here we go. Firecraft, your face. I go to 10. You go to 0, my friend. And we end up 4-1. I would like to say a 5-0 was easily achievable. Which I guess it would have been, because I think the deck is legit. If we dodge Oko, and that's not realistic. So I guess ultimately getting a 5-0 isn't realistic. You're going to play against Oko at least once every 5 games. Why the card exists in general? I don't know. Ask Wizards of the Coast. They just like to keep their mistakes just fucking hanging around in Legacy. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. And I'll see you all soon. Be good to one another and don't burn too brightly. My shining diamonds don't burn. That was... Fuck you. Hit the like button. Bye.